Hello everybody and welcome to my hardcore movie. This project has taken ages and is a culmination of all of the skills that I've learned through YouTube. So support by liking and subscribing would be much appreciated. Now, let's get into the video. It all started on day 0. I woke up to a fresh new world. I gushed over the new wolf texture, punched my first tree, and then began to explore. On my way, I crafted my first stone tools, and after venturing through a swamp, finding my first frogs along the way, I got a bed and slept. Day 1. After running around a little, I found a very promising cave. In the cave, I collected my first bits of iron, using it to make a shield, very useful. After a close call with a gang of spiders, I head up to my little hole to sleep. Day 2. After defeating an army of spiders, my suspicions were confirmed. There was a spider spawner. The loot wasn't great, so I continued exploring the cave and the subsequent mineshaft. However, after not finding very much, I decided to sleep. On day 3, I cooked my iron and made my first pieces of armor, an iron chestplate. I then went further into the mineshaft, collecting iron and killing mobs. On the way up, I collected loads of coal, smelted my iron, and crafted some leggings. I tore up my home in the wall and set off exploring again, swiftly finding a village with a blacksmith, where I settled for the night. On day 4, after waking up, I wander a bit before deciding on a spot to place my things. I then collect some wood and make a double chest. After that, I explore the village, collecting as much stuff as possible. I then made a bucket and a helmet, increasing my number of workstations, and began some terraforming. Early on day 5, I make an infinite water source and begin work on my farm, planting lots of wheat and a couple of potatoes. Using wheat, I collect my first emeralds by trading with a farmer. Then I try to get an armorer to sell me boots, which I think he never did. I cut some more trees, and then the video stopped recording for some reason, so now it's day 6. Not a lot happened on day 6. It was the first day of the second stream, and there were a lot of technical difficulties early on. After figuring everything out, I collect a load of wood, kill some cows, and explore the nearby area, including a couple of small caves. After a day of destroying wildlife, I sleep peacefully. Day 7. I wake up, satiate my thirst for blood, and then explore a cave, which looked quite promising. Once in, I see it's a lot bigger than I realised, so I begin lighting it up, killing any and everything as I do so. Scared to go deeper, I return to the surface. I continue terraforming, expanding my farm even more, then crafting a set of shiny new tools. As the sun sets, I begin the structure of my new house. Day 8. I immediately get to work on my house by laying the cobblestones, before deciding on where the windows should go. After harvesting my crops, I go searching for sand, which took far longer than I expected. However, with the use of a door, I collected plenty. On the way back, I grabbed some iron, then tended to the farms, and let the sand cook. After expressing my boundaries with a villager, I finally slept. Day 9. I sorted out my inventory quickly before crafting fences and gates. After realizing how expensive they were, I cut down some more trees. Fences in hand, I cleared an area and began construction of the pens. Using some wool, I made carpets to easily access all the pens, and as the sun set, I brought my first animals to their eternal homes. Day 10. After waking up, I gathered cows to my pens and then bred all of my animals. I then gathered some more iron, collected my first melons, and tended to the crops. I expanded the farm area once more before collecting my glass and placing in the windows. I then finished off my ground floor by adding a fenced-off back area. After seeing a big tree, I awakened the arsonist inside of me, collecting gravel to get flint and then fire. Feeling great after my pyromanical outbreak, I slept. Day 11. I plant a load of saplings and then start on decorating my house using a mixture of stairs and slabs. I then tear up the dirt flooring so I can replace it with cobblestone. Already running out of stone, I begin the Great Cobblestone Mine, and it only gets larger from here. Cobblestone acquired, I continue decorating the exterior of my house. I finish the trim around my house to harvest my melons, and only then do I sleep. Day 12 marks the third stream, and again with technical difficulties, half of it is wasted. Once everything is working, I harvest my crops and then tend to the animals. I do some trading with a farmer before collecting clay to sell to a mason. I get a decent couple of emeralds before making new tools and heading back to the cobblestone mine, where I dig it out even further, collecting a large amount of coal in the process. Day 13. After waking up, I make a new pickaxe and collect some iron and coal. I use the coal to trade with a villager, then craft a new iron axe so I can chop down lots of trees. Next, I tend to the farm and I build an extra pen, squaring off the whole animal quarters. And on day 14, I add more carpets to the pens for easy access, then collect some pigs to finish off my collection. Next, I tend to my farm and animals and then trade with a stonemason. I add some stairs to the inside of my house and begin work on the second floor. After laying the first layer, I add the ceiling to the ground floor, sleeping before finishing the job. On day 15, I hastily finish off the ceiling and set my attentions to the space above my back porch. After extending the logs, I build the rest of the framework, and once I finish being judgmental, I deepen the Great Cobblestone Mine. Cobble and wood in hand, I add more to the second floor, moving my bed upstairs as well, but before sleeping I add a wooden flooring to the back porch. On day 16, I use leftover glass and craft them into panes so I can add them to the second floor. Then I tend to the farm and the animals, I collect a little more iron, watch a ronding trader magically disappear along with a nitwit, before mining up some dirt and printing out my nearby area. After waking up and staring into the blank void of distant space, I decided to put that dirt I collected to good use, neatly terraforming an area of the village, which is what I did for the majority of this day. After sorting my chest and staring at a frog, I put a lead on the golem and dragged it into the cave, pushing it off a cliff into almost certain death. But before going down further, I sleep the night away. Day 18. Using a bucket of water, I make a safety stream down into the lower part of the cave. After killing a skeleton being ambushed by 3 creepers, I light the area up, collecting anything I deem worthy. Next I ventured deeper into the cave, and while travelling through the chasms I ran into Phil's murderer. However, just around the corner was a massive cave. Spotting some diamonds, I bridged over to them, and with 5 diamonds in hand, I make a little hole in the wall where I craft my diamond pick and end the stream. After letting my iron smelt and collecting a spare bucket, I leave my hole in the wall. Down in the cave, I pick up even more diamonds. On day 19, I'm still collecting diamonds, but once the large area is exhausted, I tunnel into the mine shaft, picking up loot and fending off nasty cave spiders. I find a couple more diamonds before eventually finding real treasure. Hidden deep within the mineshaft was a skeleton spawner. The loot was unremarkable, but I didn't care at all. After getting the coordinates, I continued exploring, now with my first pieces of obsidian. As I finish collecting obsidian, the day counter clicks forward, and after returning to the mineshaft, I continue to explore it. Eventually finding a crack in the wall, leading me back into the cave, where there is actually much more to explore. Diamonds saved from my inventory, I collect even more obsidian, and on my way out, I get ambushed, being lowered to 3 hearts. And somehow, before the day ends, I'm back in bed, sleeping. On day 21, in an effort to keep organised, I make a chest and begin sorting all of my stuff. Next, I move the workstations into my house, then I make even more chests to be ultra organized. I spend a whole day organizing hiding spaces for everything I need, like food, blocks, mob drops, and of course, all of my valuables. Day 22. After a quick morning murder, I tend to the farm, storing all the proceeds neatly. After that, I make an assortment of stone blocks to begin work on my roof. With very little actual ideas, it took a while to get into a proper groove with it. However, once I found my flow, the progress was very fast, and I had done a large proportion before nightfall. On day 23, already beginning to run low on cobble, I made the most out of what I had. Luckily, it was enough to finish a basic roof structure. Using the leftovers, I experiment with different additions to the roof. After finishing one, I tried to copy it over to the others, which, after some minor difficulty, came out great. As I take down my scaffolding, I pretty up the top side of the back porch, then I collect some wool so I can add more beds to the village. And after a long day of work, I can finally rest my head. First things first, on day 24, I make some lanterns to neatly decorate the upstairs, and taking some diamonds from a pile, I create my enchanting table. I also create my set of diamond armor. Today was a great day for progress. I then moved my valuables next to my bed as an act of safety. I then sheared my sheep and bred all of my animals, gave myself a double bed and proceeded to do nothing with the rest of the day. After waking up on day 25, I venture through the swamp in search of sugarcane so that I can create a great enchanting table. After collecting some, I learnt that you can't bone meal it in Java. Womp womp. This led me into a murderous frenzy. Murderous intent aside, I continue collecting sugarcane late into the night. In the morning of day 26, I reorganised, and then collected wood for bookshelves. My first batch made 5, although 3 of which were made into lecterns for later. Emeralds in hand, I set out to get a mending villager. However, I needed more villagers first, so I made sure they were fed and added even more beds to the village. I tended to the crops on day 27. I killed an all-gold skeleton and harvested my sugarcane, replanting all of it. Out of boredom, I made a bow and fishing rod, and then took to the swampy waters to try my luck. I wasn't lucky. So, after a couple of mellow days, I went to bed, aware of a task that was rapidly approaching. I started day 28 by collecting sugarcane, and on my travels I found a ruined portal, a group of raiders, and a witch's hut. But all I had my eyes on was the sugarcane. My next task was collecting leather, which was fairly tedious and slow, but, progress is still progress. On day 29, I used dripstone, lava, and cauldrons to construct a lava farm, which I will use as an almost infinite fuel source. Using books from yesterday, I once again increased my enchanting table's power, and now the mammoth task begins, of getting a mending book. I block the villager in and begin. And luckily it only took 5 minutes. Yes! Oh, that's really cheap as well. But I still needed to get on breaking, so go back to sleep, readying myself for the possibility of this taking an immense amount of time. Riding a high on day 30, I perform my morning chores, harvesting all of the crops and feeding the animals. Then I go and collect some leather. After lots of bloodshed, I pick up some pumpkins as well, because I can sell them for a profit. Back at home, I finally have enough bookshelves to have a fully powered enchanting table. I check all of the enchants, but I can't afford any. On day 31, I add some more windows to my house, making it the most complete it will ever be. With a second librarian acquired, I get to work. This time it took me 16 minutes to finally get Unbreaking free, and I can only be glad that they sold it to me for a nice price. Yes! 13 emeralds! Exhausted, I went to sleep in a bed that wasn't even mine. After waking up on day 32, I make some more books so I can lock in the trade and then set the villager free. Seeing how close I am to level 30, I kill some of my animals, collect my lapis, and begin to cycle through enchants. My first enchant isn't great, but I live through it. Nothing much happens next until I tend to my farm. On day 33, I grab my emeralds and crops so that I can sell it all to farmers. To increase my revenue, I also craft extra composters. I use the emeralds to upgrade my wheat guy and use the bread to breed the villagers. After a second harvest and sort through my chests, I can get myself some more emeralds, which I use to further upgrade my wheat guy, whom I can now sell melons to. Yippee! I then gamble with suspicious stews. Not a good idea. Then I make a loom so I can capitalize off of my sheep. I sort my inventory, watch the sunset, and then sleep. On day 34, I finally bite the bullet and begin making my XP grinder using the skeleton spawner I found at stream 4 day 19. The staircase down is slow and annoyingly long, and despite its usefulness, I will forever kinda hate it. I begin to clear out the area as the day counter also ticks over. And day 35 shall go down in history, as it is the day that I met Purple, a fellow YouTuber. This guy was incredible. He watched a load of my stuff and was very avid in the chat, which was a welcome change of pace. Anyways, I continued holding up the area before exploring to collect water. After a bit of a struggle on the way back, I created an infinite water source and the external stairs. On day 36, I begin digging up the stream that will funnel the skeletons towards the killing chamber. With a chamber of my own design, it's soon set up. I place the water, test it, and then I remove the chest and torch. And then I watch as the XP rolls in. On the surface, I sort my inventory and say hello to Queso, an iron golem that spawned somewhere in my house. And I make a hopper and chests. On the way down, I hollow out the central hole, and then add the storage system, which goes pretty badly at first, knocking me down to half health and breaking my shield. But with a bucket of lava, I can finish off all of the skeletons. I then add the hopper and all is fine. Most of day 37 is spent farming skeletons and talking to Purple in the chat. But once I had 33 levels, I head up to enchant my stuff. I end up enchanting my sword and bow, and they're good but not great. And after cycling through the enchants, I go to sleep. Day 38. Equipped with steak, I make the forever unnerving drop down to the skeleton spawner. I continue to use the spawner for the rest of the day, getting up to 35 levels before the counter ticks over. On day 39, I quite quickly reach 36 levels, and I head up to the surface on the world's most annoying staircase. I disenchant and re-enchant my pickaxe, getting 14-2 and efficiency 4. Then I got an amazing chestplate as well as a nice pair of boots. Then Queso mysteriously dies, and in a memorial, I set up a sign on my enchanting setup. On day 40, I immediately head down to the skeleton spawner, and after a short detour, I craft myself a new shield. Feeling much safer, I continue killing the skeletons. Everything is going fine until I see this. In the drop chute is a full diamond skeleton. What? And sadly, it didn't drop any. Despite the fact I didn't need it, I was still slightly disappointed. I continue to farm skeletons as the day ticks over to day 41. With 36 levels, I again head back up to the surface. I enchant my leggings with prop 3 and unbreaking 3, and then my helmet with prop 4 and respiration 3. Kitted out with full diamond armor, I make and enchant a new diamond sword, which is so almost perfect, only missing sharpness and fire respect. I then go down to the caves, exploring an entirely separate area. Still in the cave on day 42, I decide to double back, collecting everything I'd missed and then ultimately leaving the cave. I utilised my lava farm to cook my findings. Using the iron I collected, I made an anvil and found out it would take 37 levels to combine my swords, which I deemed unnecessarily way too much. You know, if only I'd have done it instead. I then, for the first time in a long time, tended to my farm, selling off my profits. On day 43, I take another try at getting a godly sword, but it turns out no better than last time. Then I search for a place to put my nether portal, and I eventually decide on the blacksmith where my lava farm is. After some renovations, I make the portal and collect my belongings, readying myself for what could have been my final moments. Anxiety reaching a peak as I sleep. After a lot of procrastination, on day 44, I leave the house. I put an iron golem on a leash, I fence off the portal, and with a clash of my flint and steel, the portal lights before my eyes. I push the golem through first, and then follow in quickly afterwards. However, being the world's biggest coward, I immediately abandon the iron golem. Coming to my senses, I go back in. I build a massive safety box around my portal and carve out a large chunk of a wall to add extra space. With safety box finished, I return home and sleep. On day 45, I disenchant my pickaxe and decide to gamble for fortune 3. But to gamble, I need levels, so you guessed it, I went down to the skeleton spawner. I killed skeletons once again until the day counter ticked over. I continued committing homicide on day 46 until I had 33 levels, at which point I ventured back up to the surface, and on the first enchant I got Silk Touch. So I made another pickaxe to try again, and it was worse than the one I started with. Going to my village, I find a raiding party, which I take care of with the help of my golems. I hang the banner above my bed and store the ominous bottle away for later. I trade paper with a cartographer, and although it doesn't get me very far, I think it's still progress. I tend to the farm and feed my animals, and then I go to sleep. I cull my animals on the morning of day 47 so I can sell their bodies to a butcher. I spend most of today trading and leveling up villages for more diverse trades and methods of getting emeralds. I also get Silk Touch on my axe, which made me very happy as I could now get much more elven profits. After trading and collecting some XP from my furnace, I'm back up to level 30, at which point I will re-enchant my pickaxe for what must be the 5th time, but still no fortune 3. Saddened, I sleep. On day 48, I tend to the farm the animals and then make my helmet way better by giving it unbreaking 3, mending, and aqua affinity. Then I get ready to go back into the Nether, hopeful to find something cool and useful while not dying in the process. I run around a bit before finally sleeping, preparing for any dangers that could be lying ahead. On day 49, after immense procrastination, I enter the Nether. I pass my old protector, but don't find much in his direction, so I go the other way, where I fight Ghast and eventually get to the Crimson Forest. Day 51. In the early morning, I start the raid, and now I'll let you see how everything plays out. You know what? I've got iron golems aplenty. That's like 1, 2, 3. I thought it was 4 of them. I know. I've still got 3 iron golems. At least. Raid. Oh god. Okay. Where are you? Come on. Something. Please. Are they in here? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Oh. Oh. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yay! I did it! I did a first thing of the raid. Oh, there we are. There's the bell. I mean, I already know where they are, but I think if I ring the bell, do they get lit up? Nope. Good job, Golem. I have nothing to heal you with. I'm sorry. No, I'll keep it. Actually, I want looting. Oh, there we are. Crap. Oh, crap. Well done, you guys. Where's the last guy, huh? Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, crap. Witches. I hate witches. Hate you too. Oh god, oh god, oh god. You just die, please. Finally. Spider. Oh yeah, I've got stones. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh. More rewards to reap over here. Wait, oh my god, here again? Okay, that's a... Okay. Crazy. Yup. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, lovely job, Iron Golem. Oh no, Vexes. Don't want to deal with Vexes or Vindicators. Leave me alone. Oh god, you can... No! 6666. Oh no. And there it is. Slain by Vindicators. I almost undoubtedly had a totem in my inventory, and I'm so close to finishing that golden apple. As I look to the screen, I see my score, and it looks like a bad omen. You know, if only I'd known beforehand. Who knows how everything could or would have played out in the end. And that's my journey, from start to finish, all within one video. This project has taken me ages to complete, so showing support would mean the world to me. I thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.